Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Sheri, and this is the 11th episode of Vulnerable Talks. And me and my friend Özkan, we are hosting you tonight after almost 9 months of this practice, which we decided that we open this space and we give microphone to anybody who would like to share something personal about how did they feel at this time of our life, that a lot of things have gone wrong. We experienced pandemic, we were locked down, and many of us lost many things, including business, including our relationships, including hopefully not so many in this group, but many people also, they have lost dear ones. So tonight is a special episode because coincidentally the number 11 episode has kind of clashed with 11/11/2020. So we have this portal of 11/11, and I thought I'll just give a little bit of maybe insight about what number 11 stands for according to numerology, which is a kind of a pseudoscience. We usually look into the patterns of numbers and try to create some sort of connection with human behavior. Number 11 stands for power of manifestation, spiritual awakening, and something which maybe you can call it enlightenment, something that kind of enhances the power of number 1, which is the number of leadership, it's individuality, it's the number of power, it's being one and only. We have supposedly just one God, and he had one name. Therefore, number 11 has 2 1 and it enhances those power. And right now we have 4 1s. So these 4 1s are supposed to open a portal of manifestation. This is supposed to be one of the most potent days about manifestation. And I am so happy to have our 7 speakers tonight, along with my partner Özkan, in this activity. And they were brave enough. They are from different nationalities, from different timelines, from a different part of the country. We are in Istanbul, in Turkey. We have different people from different cities, different countries, and they all have right now come here and want to share their stories, their feelings, their fears, their hopes with us. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I'm looking forward to listen to all of your stories, hear your voice, and hopefully one day be with you physically, just like how we used to be before, but hopefully with a different energy. Özkan, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to say welcome to everyone. Thanks to our 7 guest speakers for this evening. It's a special day, 11th day of the 11th month and our episode 11. Yeah, it's an interesting day, and let this be an interesting night of manifestation. Let's open our portal for manifestation tonight. Yeah, we hope that things are going to get different, but better. And we hope that hopefully by early next year, we want to do some sort of a big communication with all the guest speakers and of the vulnerable talks within 2020.
Yeah, we till today we had 11 episodes. So till today we spoke with 77 people. My math is not so good. Is that my right?
That's correct. And by the end of the year, it's going to be 14 episodes and almost 100 people on the Vulnerable Talks stage.
Yeah, hopefully we hope that we have like a good New Year party in 2021 and talk about some.
We cross our fingers for a better year, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit about the stories of tonight. We are going to interact with the speakers. The speakers will come and talk one after another. We share the sequence with you. Let me say, I'm so thankful to all the audiences who have come. Not so many people, but we understand that the Zoom talks are becoming less and less popular. So for very few people who are here, please interact with the speakers as they talk. If something that they say resonates with you, if you hear a word that is highlighted for you, please go ahead and share your feelings in the chat box. You have a chance also that if you would like to talk after the speakers are finished, we have 10 minutes of interaction. So if you would like to add something, you can write in the chat box that you would like to talk, and we will give you a chance. And towards the end, don't leave us just when the talks are over, because towards the end we have a surprise for you. In today's talk we have very interesting people. We have two amazing musicians, and hopefully they will do some very interesting musical performance for us before we say goodnight.
Yeah. It's going to be lovely. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the kickoff of this session. Yeah, do you want me to read the 3 questions?
Yeah, sure. We had already sent 3 questions to our guest speakers, and these 3 questions are copied in the chat box. So for your information, you can go through them and read them as well. They are going to answer these questions in their own fashion related to their own stories. So just for your information, they're being written here. If you want to add something related to these questions, please go ahead and write your name in the chat box. You might get a chance towards the end to actually share your story with everyone.
Okay, let's start then. What do you say?
Yeah, sure. Would you like to share the screen?
Our 7 speakers will speak one after another, and this is going to be the lineup for today. We're going to start with, let's see, it's on screen now, Colin, then Ece, then Hilaneh, then Ray, Lorraine, Faiza, and Patrick. They're all going to have 3 minutes each uninterrupted, and they're going to share their own personal stories. They don't have to answer the 3 questions, but something related to the questions and these times we are facing and experiencing.
Okay, let's start with Colin. May I have his?
Sure, let's go.
Colin, are you with us? Is your microphone?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for being with us for America. I know it's early morning there, and you're
it's okay.
Joining from another country, another timeline. Let me quickly read what you've written about yourself, and the microphone is yours.
Okay.
Colin, word maestro, musician, composer, maestro, teacher, founder of the Pangean Orchestra, father, and husband. Please educate me how to say your full name before we start.
Colin O'Donohoe. I was realizing for a Turk, I think the best way to tell a Turk how to pronounce my name is to spell it K-A-G with the hat, L, I with no dot, N. If you spell it like that.
That's crazy. Are your ancestors related to indigenous Indian Americans?
No, Irish. And
Irish.
that's why the 3-minute limit is good for me, because I will talk too long.
Awesome. Also, actually, we have time. You can talk, but for another 1 hour. But since I know you have a
I will
student,
talk too much.
okay, go ahead. Microphone is yours.
Okay. So I also wanted to add on to your 11 talking. For me, as the son of a veteran, 11/11 in America is Veterans Day, and for the world, it's Armistice Day. And the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month of 1918, World War I was ended for all intents and purposes. So for me, today is a very special day because of my father. And as I looked at your questions, the first question was about the most difficult thing that I had to do this year. And for me, it was saying goodbye to my father over the telephone. I was in Brazil, my father was in America, and he made some choices to where he was going to stop care. I knew he was about to die. So I spoke to him on the phone. I said, thank you. I, told him I am who I am because of him. So that was the hardest thing I had to do. And how did I overcome? For me, I wouldn't say I overcame it. Still, I don't think you do overcome the loss of a parent, but I just returned to what I do, which is making music. And he died in February. And in March, we came back to the United States to help my mother. They had been married 51 years, so she needed some help. And then there was coronavirus and we couldn't go do anything, go anywhere. So for me, I returned to what I do, which is to play music. I created a space in my house, and my wife and I, we made this project called the Prayer Garden. And I would play flutes like this one here, and I would play some music. I composed the music behind it. And for me, the Prayer Garden was this nice project, a manifestation of an idea I first had in Mongolia about 8 months earlier, but now was the time I needed that for me. So that's why I started that. So let's see the second part. My current mood, I would say, is cautiously optimistic. And I tend to be like that always. My biggest challenge is certainly financial, because I'm a musician and I travel. 2020 killed everything. All my projects killed, destroyed everything. So that's my biggest challenge. I choose not to internalize the chaos, the way it was phrased. I don't want to internalize chaos. I don't want that inside me. I choose instead to try to externalize my feelings, my compassion, my love for other people, my love for music, and do a project, like the one I did with Prayer Garden. And so let's see, it looks like I'm almost at the end. I'm doing pretty good, by the way, for an Irishman, to keep it under 3. My plans for the future and things, I don't know. Everything's kind of up in the air. My father, who, again, I began the talk by mentioning him, he always told me, if I want to hear God laugh, then just tell him my future plans. And I think that's been true throughout my whole life, but especially in 2020, if you want to hear God laugh, say your plans out loud and listen to the heavens. That's what I would say. So, and I guess I face these things with laughter, and I try to keep a sense of humor. Because if I'm not, then I would be pretty dark. So I realize I probably passed over 3, but thank you both for hosting this event. And I look forward to listening to all your other guests.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I want to say a little bit about the Pangean Orchestra and how Colin and I met in Istanbul. We met in Istanbul actually through your awesome project of Pangean Orchestra. Maybe you would like to say a little bit about that as well.
Sure. The Pangean Orchestra is a project I've been working on for about 10 years, and it's about bringing people from all over the world together in one place, on one stage, to play together, to find a way to get people from Africa, Asia, United States, Ireland to come together and agree on pitches and agree on a way to play together. I feel like if people are together and playing, it's so much harder for us to hate each other. It's so much harder for us to say, he's Iranian, I'm American, so we're different, and we put up this invisible wall. If we're together on stage, there is no wall, and the audience sees that too. So we try to be an example of how people can work together, sit next to each other, you know, God forbid, love one another, things like that. So that's the project. And yes, you were there in Istanbul at the Hub.
The Hub. My singing bowl while a musician from all over the world, from Syria, from Turkey, from Greece, from Ireland, from America, from all over the world. We actually played from some Persian songs together, actually. Yes, with Mehrdad.
With Mehrdad, yeah. Mehrdad
yes.
is awesome.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for being with us. I hope you stay till end of the talk, if it's possible, because I think what Patrick or Ray might share could resonate a lot with your concepts as well. Okay, thanks again.
Thank you.
Which one? Smith? Oxford?
Özkan.
I'm sharing the screen. Thank you, Colin.
Let's move on to the next speakers. I suggest you every time that someone talks and we move to the next speaker, just refresh yourself and listen to the new story.
Yeah, I also suggest in each and every session that we refresh our minds and hearts for the next speaker, because a new person is coming up. So this is our lovely Ece. We miss Ece so much. We have been working, collaborating with her in Istanbul. Now she's in Netherlands. Ece, are you with us?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly read what you have written for yourself, and then the stage is yours. Ece, social scientist, event manager, travel coordinator, arts and culture supporter, following my curiosity everywhere. The stage is yours.
Yes, thank you so much. It's nice to see you after, I think it's been 2 years. I am right now in Rotterdam, Netherlands. And before this year started, I was already in a transition with my life. I moved, I think, in end of 2018 to Netherlands because my partner is from here. And we thought it was like, on that moment, it seemed like, okay, we need to be together. And I chose to move here. And before pandemic began, it was already have been a bit of a strange year for me because I came to a new country. It was the first time I had to move to a different country since I became an adult. And then it was already a bit of a challenge, like learning a new language, finding new skill sets, finding new things to do, trying to build up a career and to try to become someone new or someone better or the way I am. And when this pandemic first broke out, I think the hardest thing that I had to do, and I'm still facing, is the concept of unknown that it brought to all of our lives. That when it first happened, I was about to travel back home, and then I just didn't know, would I be able to travel again? But more important than that, it was, of course, am I going to be able to see my family again? Are they going to be good? Are people going to be healthy? What is going to happen? And all these sets of questions, of course, 9 months, I think it's been 8 or 9 months already. It was a bit more serious back then because we didn't know how this virus was, what would happen, how like different aspects of life would be faced with it. Now, of course, we know a bit more about it. We are trying to manage it all around the world. Everyone else is taking different measures. And things became a bit more less ambiguous, but I think it still has a bit of an ambiguity of we cannot see how things will transform in the end, because I think we are still on that transformative stage. And despite of all this, my current mood is, I would say, more optimistic than before. I was a bit more scared because I didn't know how life would change, and especially, yeah, I had different worries back then, but now I realized that all the other worries I had about having like a new career, learning new skills. I think now the most important thing is that people I know and love are being healthy, because it at some point felt like everything happening all around the world after this pandemic. It felt like a strange domino effect cycle where one thing led to another and different things happened. A few weeks ago, when I was in my office, I received a message from a friend of mine telling me like, "Is your family okay?" Because an earthquake broke in my hometown. And then I thought, okay, like everything is very strange right now, but I think now what I realized, the most important thing is that the people I love and care are good. So now this pandemic, the biggest thing that brought in my life is that it made me feel like I feel freed from all my previous responsibilities and things that I cared, my ambitions. I think the most important thing is now for me is well-being of people I love, people I care, and also, of course, people who are in need. And I believe things will go better. And I sometimes think maybe it was like, when you don't know how to stop and think for yourself, something big happens that makes you stop and think to reflect on what's happening. And I felt like maybe it was one of those things that we all needed to stop and think and see what things we do can affect. But I have this change of perspective about where I feel freed, about all my previous ambitions and burdens, even I would say some rooted, settled things that I thought I want for myself, but then I had a chance to question them all. I now look a bit more hopeful, and thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you so much, Ece, for coming. What time is it in Notre Dame right now?
Oh, it's still early. It's almost 7 p.m. We have 2 hours difference now.
Okay, that's great. It's not late. It's not late.
Yeah.
It was great to hear your voice. Ece was with us. Actually, but by the time I was in Istanbul, you have already moved out of Love Mafia. Am I right, Özkan?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you had some period together, but maybe you didn't have a chance. But I think 1 or 2 occasions you exchanged communications in between you two as well. Yeah.
Are from this family community called Love Mafia that has brought many of us together, and have always supported us with the beginning of this show, and getting to know a lot of amazing people all over the world. That's how I know most of the people that I know in Istanbul. So thank you.
I know Sheri through Love Mafia, Ece, Patrick, and and Jake as well.
Right.
It's a very lovely community. If you want to check, there is lovemafia.co. There's a website. You can just see who's in there. Now there are 800 members. And Ece was like one of the, she was really responsible and very successful on growing our community back then when she was with us. But she made her life choice and in Netherlands right now, and we are really happy to have you on Vulnerable Talks. We've been talking about this, and I hope that sharing some of these shifts in your mindset and heart set, I think listening to you was good for me. I have felt a bit of a relief. I hope it was good for you too, to come up and speak up. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Again.
Yeah. In the end, we have a 10-minute session period where everybody can speak afterwards. Let's continue with the 7 speakers. I'm just going to share the screen quickly. And our next guest, I'm going to introduce, because this time, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Hilaneh, is this how it's pronounced?
Yeah, it's as good as it gets.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Hilaneh, hi. Today, as a matter of fact, I mean, you've been in Turkey, I think, for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like for I don't want to mention dates, but for quite some time ago, you've been an English teacher for one of my friends, and he was surprised to see you on Vulnerable Talks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, welcome. I'm just going to quickly read your description that you have written for yourself, introduction, and then the stage is yours.
Okay.
Hilaneh, photographer, designer, and teacher, working towards equality and justice is my purpose in life. The stage and the mic is yours.
Okay, thank you. Hey, everyone. It's kind of difficult to put this past 8 months of craziness. That's like the most surreal times of our lives in 3 minutes, but I'll try. Well, this became an issue in Turkey in March, right on my 44th birthday, actually. And I'm a realist, so I don't think this world is such grand a proposition in general. So I was thinking, I was kind of happy and hopeful about it all in the beginning. I thought it could only make things better, make us all wake up, you know, see things clearly, what actually important matters, what doesn't matter. I thought since in most systems, in most organisms, a sudden halt or sudden change, if it doesn't kill the organism or system, it usually makes it work more properly afterwards when it survives. So I thought this might do the trick for us. So positive. I was even called a fascist by a friend of mine who's here right now too. But these feelings quickly faded away after all the side effects of the pandemic became more clear to all of us, all the domestic abuse, the hunger, the poverty, the loss of jobs, loss of purpose, all the fear and everything of all. And I quickly got it too. I think I was one of the first people in Turkey to get the virus. Maybe it was God's punishment for me to feeling positive about it. But yeah, so it all kind of went away. And after getting the virus, I found out about some more serious health problems that I have. And I kind of got into this survival mode after that, basically. I'm just living life a day at a time, just trying to do my best as I could daily to improve daily life for myself, for my kids. I have 2 children, for my friends, community. And I think the important thing is sometimes I feel hope, sometimes I feel despair. But the important thing is to not take things too seriously. The world has gone through much worse and has come out of it. And you just have to do your best by yourself and by your community, I think, and wait and see what comes out of it. And remember, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? And the virus itself never really worried me. The only thing I was worried about was if my parents who live in Iran get it, and they're both quite old and not healthy, and I wouldn't be able to go visit them. And this, I think, is the biggest worry for most of us. And that also happened to me. Right now, my mother is in the hospital with the virus, but she's doing okay. So I don't know. We will see, I guess. I have very mixed feelings about this. Every day I'm feeling differently about it. It's just life, right? Hopefully it will still do some good in the world in the long time. It has definitely been an eye-opening period for me, for people around. We're all discovering different talents, you know, different ways of thinking, different ways of looking at life. Trying to still be positive. Is it not 3 minutes?
It is.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if it's not, if it is
I didn't
3 or
time myself.
yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
So much. Our prayers is with you and your mother. I hope she's fine. Actually, for past 3 or 4 days, there will be a huge outburst of, I don't know what to call it, second wave or third wave in our country, in Iran. And many people have lost parents, especially, or got it contracted. I heard like 3 days ago, there were 10,000 new cases, which is quite massive. So I don't know. We don't know really what to be worried at this point of time, to be worried about getting sick or to be worried about losing jobs. So worry has become somehow a key word at this point of time. So I appreciate your optimism and your positivity a day at a time. That's quite a good motto. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hilaneh. So before we start with our next guest, let's refresh our minds and hearts. And I'm sharing. Sheri.
Yes. Now our next guest is dear Ray. Ray, are you with us? I see your microphone.
I am. I think I unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. You are connecting from Kalkan. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to tell us about that new adventure in Kalkan as well. Okay, let's quickly read what you've written for people who don't know you. Chef, yoga teacher, healer, and writer. His mission is to guide us towards integrated learning, all chakras, all levels.
Yeah.
Right? Please.
So thank you guys. It's nice to be here. I went for a job to cook and teach yoga around March 15th. It was supposed to be a week, and then the pandemic hit, and my whole life changed. And I couldn't leave Antalya province. And one thing led to another, and I ended up in this house in Kalkan. And I woke up a couple months before that, New Year's, shaved my head. I said, this is the year I want to find a way to put together the different pieces of what I practice. And through the pandemic, it's been really hard, but I found a way to sort of put them together. So it's been a year full of surprises, I think, for all of us. And I've felt a bit, one of the biggest challenges was to, as a creative person, as many of us are, I know that in many different times in my life, I was just praying for time. And I think being in touch with my own shadow and, you know, our ability to just waste time. And I remember being in quarantine and miraculously having a job after many years of difficult times. I had a good job. I was cooking and teaching yoga, but I still had tons of time. And I remember waking up each morning saying, I'm going to actually miss this. I'm going to miss this when it's over, because now I have this opportunity to write, to train, to meditate, to do all these things without maybe feeling guilty that I should be doing something else. So I think that was one of the biggest challenges, and one of the things that has inspired me the most about this pandemic time. And I just want to share something with regards to time. I mean, something I've really been meditating on. I think in the pre-digital world, we had a different sense of time. Like it might take you 2 weeks to make a chair, or a month to make a chair, or, you know, you would build a house over the course of 5 years, or a temple over the course of 100 years. I think that human beings in general had a different sense of how long things took. And I think there was some relation to how long it took to make things, and to how much we valued them and how long we wanted them to last. And my current mood in this house, because I don't have a lot of work and not a lot of money, so I've been doing everything myself, laying stones, building walls, learning electric, working in the gardens, which I always did. And it's this incredible blessing to try to be an ancient kind of ancient time and ancient mind. So that's my current mood, is just, it is also survival, but just sort of waking up each day and being very patient and just like water, kind of getting things done one little step at a time. So I've had a very active quarantine, actually. And I'm up in the mountains here, just working away, you know, staying busy and staying focused. So I think that's probably about 3 minutes, huh?
You didn't need another 1 more hour or something?
Still talk fast, still talk fast.
Thank you so much for connecting from top of the mountain. I know we already met during the summer, and you told me that your internet is not very stable, and we just don't know where you would be.
I've got it sorted out. I've got it sorted out now. So it's been one of those one days at a time, trying to get something done each day. So the internet's pretty solid now.
Yeah, today is a good day then.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. And yeah, at the end, we are going to listen to some of your amazing, maybe pieces. I hope you had time to make new music.
Sure. Yeah, I'm going to share 1 or 2 new original songs tonight. So
Sure. Thanks again. We'll get back to you.
Thank you, Ray, for your genuine sharing, and and the shifting of understanding of time. It's changed for all of us. I think this has been like 20 years. I think this 2020 has been 20 years for me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different perspective, you know, when you're on lockdown, so to speak. Thank you.
Let's continue with our 5th guest speaker tonight. Lorraine is with us from UK. You're in UK, right? London, Lorraine? Is your mic on, Lorraine?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. I'm just
panic.
Fine. I'm going to read what you have described for yourself, and then I'm going to leave the stage for you. Trainee child and young persons psychotherapist, global traveler, teacher of EFL, and former teacher of religion, philosophy, and ethics. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to speak. In terms of the questions that you set us, my answers are combined because my mood is closely linked to how I process what's happening in the world, and that's one of my biggest challenges. And I think part of my problem is I internalize the chaos. Maybe I should take a leaf out of Colin's book and externalize it. Having suffered with depression on and off for the last 15 years, my mood is my biggest challenge, and learning to monitor and regulate that and try to be in a good place is always a challenge. But with the pandemic, isolation, fear, uncertainty, that has made that all the more challenging this year, from moving my studies online to the job that I was doing going online, and then losing that job. It all became quite stressful. However, for me, despite the chaos and the loss that was going on around me, lockdown was an opportunity for me to press the reset button, to quieten my anxiety and to simplify my life and really reflect and attune to my needs. So taking on board what I'd learned on my course and my own personal therapy, and really kind of thinking about what do I need, what is it? So learning to sit with the discomfort or the anxiety that I felt and learning to accept that was quite a challenge for me. Instead of distracting myself, like we said, we're good at distracting, filling our time, not really facing the key issues. I wasn't feeling the key issues in my life. So I can honestly say that through this reflection and this process that I'm actually happier than I've ever been, really, despite the chaos that's going on around. And part of this is it's been difficult for me to adjust being back in the UK and being grounded. through choice and through force, but also just embracing what's around me, being outdoors in nature. I'm lucky enough to live on the coast, and this has been my savior to take long walks on the beach. It's freezing though, I have to say, if you're picturing a beautiful warm coastal atmosphere, it's really cold, but I've taken on new pursuits that are healthy, that are feeding my body, mind and soul, from learning to surf to sea swimming at sunrise with a wetsuit, I have to say, because the sea temperature is really cold. I'm not that brave or crazy, but also finding a new way to relate to myself as well as people in a safe and healthy way. I would say my overall mood is, I like the expression cautiously optimistic that I heard before, that resonated with me. I can't control what's going on around me, but I can control how I perceive it and how I relate to other people. So for me, that's my way forward, is to be kind to myself and to be kind to others. And I'm really sorry, I forgot to press my timer, so I've got no idea if it's 3 minutes or not, but I'll stop there. Thank you.
Don't worry, you have another half an hour.
Thanks, Sheri.
Thank you so much, Lorraine, for being with us. Lorraine, how many years you lived in Istanbul?
6.5, I think. My heart's still there. Definitely a big chunk of it. But yeah, it would have been nice to have revisited this year. But actually, I think that's been very good for me, not to kind of tear myself between two places and just actually be where I'm at. And that's actually probably been a good thing for me. Yes,
that's the beauty of living in a city like Istanbul, because you see people from all over the world, you connect to people from different culture that bring you together in this city, and then you create these kind of bonds that nothing can break it. Thank you so much for your sharing. I always enjoy watching those amazing photos that you put up. You actually gave us another insight to your country. Where I'm looking at those photos and I'm like, this is where I'm going.
I make it look good.
It does look good. It does look good. I suggest everyone, all the speakers, please share your Instagrams and your some of your activities that you're doing online for the other audiences, and for the rest of the speakers to follow some of your work and to get to know you better. Thank you so much again for being.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. You said you're swimming on sunset or sunrise?
Sunrise.
Sunrise. All right.
Yeah, it's about 7 a.m. at the minute, and it's about 8 degrees, the ocean, and the air temperature is about 10, so it's pretty cold, but I am suited and booted. But there are some people that go in just their bathing costumes in their yeah, they're hardcore.
That's all.
Unbelievable.
You go, girl.
Thank you for your sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let's keep the ball rolling, and with our 6th guest speaker this evening, all the way from Pakistan. Now she's a Istanbul resident, I think. Faiza is going to be with us. Faiza, are you here? Can you unmute yourself? Can you open your microphone?
Yes,
Hi.
I did already.
No, hi. Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Faiza is correct?
Yes, it's perfectly fine.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if it's wrong, just tell me.
Oh, no. Here in Istanbul, in Turkey, everyone pronounced my name perfectly fine. Perfect. Unless like very few people who say Faiza, but mostly they get it right.
Thank you. I'm just going to quickly read your self-description, and then I will give you the microphone. Faiza, airliner by profession, heading Apple Holidays, destination management company. My motto in life is to inspire and empower all the lives I touch. Please inspire us.
Yeah, that's what I do best. All right, so as you already mentioned that I'm the one from Pakistan. So for me, like this life never been very easy for me being in Pakistan. Like there, women are expected only to be daughters, obedient daughters, and the wives, and the dedicated mothers. So for me, choosing my career over everything, being a divorcee back then, it was not easy. And the industry I'm from is a very male-dominating industry in Pakistan. So, and during the COVID time, I would say, I can't say I'm the only one, but like we were hit very badly. The tourism went off from the beginning. So for me, like I created my name in Pakistan against all the odds. So I always thought nothing can hit me anymore. I've seen the worst. But then I was not prepared that, this COVID thing will hit me that much badly. So I moved here last year in April, did my homework and realized that Turkey being a very touristic country will have the opportunity for me to make money out of it. So I registered the company in September and gave myself 5 months to do all the contracting with the hotels and the transporters and whatnot. But then the moment the time comes for me to make money and utilize all my energy, and COVID hit it so badly that I had to close down my office, completely shut down on things. So, but then the first month, even optimistic person like me started to sink. So I started to do yogas at home, and I was running in Istanbul roads early morning to gain my energy back and to focus. And I think that was the only thing which really helped me, because this is something which I was unable to do it in Pakistan. There, being a woman, I cannot run on the road. In Istanbul, I enjoy, this is very liberating. So, and then slowly, gradually, things started to shape up. There are a few countries who opened their borders. We started to receive tourists here in Turkey. So little light of hope I can see at the end of the tunnel. So, but the way we work is completely changed. Before, we were unable to even work with other companies who were doing the same business. But right now, what we're doing is I have signed a partnership contract with one of my, you can say, competitor, to join hands and make the maximum out of it rather than fighting over small businesses. So, and it's working out perfectly fine. And I would say I was always a corporate slave kind of a person and never able to focus on other than the tourism part. But now I started work on import export by finding out the opportunity between Turkey and Pakistan. Where are the things which Pakistan needs it from Turkey, and there are things which Turkey needs it from Pakistan. And it's literally opened up very different chapters of my life, which I never thought I could be able to do it. So I would say from few years by now, if somebody asked me about 2020 story, I will have one hell of a story to tell to everyone, that how I started doing things which I never thought I'll be able to.
Yeah, thank you. And I also have just recently learned that there is also a new chapter that you were able to get back together with your daughter.
Yes, after 13 years. Yeah. 13 years.
Yeah, okay, that's a fantastic story.
Yeah, because divorces again in it's ugly everywhere, but in Pakistan it's more uglier because there is law, but nobody follows it. So my ex-husband didn't allow me to meet my daughter, and and then we reconnected early this year, and then now she's here with me in Istanbul.
Fantastic news. Happy to
That's
hear
why
this.
I say I'll have a hell of a story to tell.
Yeah. Thank you, Faiza.
Thank you so much.
If you want to share something else, in the end, we're going to have another chat session. Yeah, thank you. And let's continue to our...
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was very strong sharing. I truly connect with you, especially the part that you felt running on the roads.
Oh, yeah.
Liberation for you. I know it might sound a little funny for for people who live in the free countries, but for those who have lived in the restricted countries, for women, we understand freedom in a very different way. I'm coming from a country that women don't have much of freedom.
Yeah, it's just basic, running on the streets freely, but it's crazy.
Yeah, you can imagine, it's so liberating. It's really liberating.
Obviously, of course I do understand, because that's what I do and I enjoy it every time that I do. But I remember the first time at 2001 when I left Iran, the first thing that I was enjoying the most was to have my hair open and feel the air in my hair. And this was one of the best moments of freedom for me. This was something that we had to fight for it, or we had to like experience it in a very, very, very limited version. So I feel it, and I'm happy that you're here with us tonight and sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Faiza.
With many people.
Shall we continue?
Yeah, sure. I think we are with our last speakers. Are we?
Yes.
Yes.
And it is our lovely Patrick.
Here, Patrick, are you ready?
Hello.
Always.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course. Let me quickly read what you've written, and then you have 3 hours and 3 minutes. Belgian who lost his heart to Turkey after 35 years of entrepreneurship and after failed artist career. But I'll be back. Microphone is yours.
Okay, thank you. I start with so we had these 3 questions, and I would like to start with the last question, with the mood. So today I really feel shit because I just finished my chemotherapy. So I have since June I was diagnosed stomach cancer. In the beginning it was actually they said you have stomach cancer, but then there was also like spread all over my lungs and lymph and in my bones and in my shoulder, and I was like, whoa, this is not so good. And you're already in this COVID thing, and then this came to me. Now, I don't know who knows the story about Asterix cartoon. And Obelix is a very strong man because one day he fell into a barrel of a liquid that makes him very strong. So I always have the same feeling for myself. I'm always optimistic. I think there are some wires in my head that I'm missing. So COVID didn't make me small because I started an acceleration program online, international, which really took off from the first moment. And in January, we already have our 3rd one. And it's specifically on Africa and Asia. So that was already like amazing for me. So for me, I didn't see any problem with COVID. I saw an opportunity. I was always an entrepreneur. So for me, this is like the next crisis. I also had a crisis in the 70s with the oil and that kind of thing. But then the cancer was, of course, that was a different story because cancer is, for me, something that kills you. And to my surprise, I was totally not impressed by the fact that I had this very bad diagnosis. I was like, okay, we were talking about internalizing or externalizing. I didn't internalize anything. I mean, not in, not out. So for me, it was like, okay, that's just the next thing I will do. And of course, what I found out, and believe me, Turkey is an amazing country. Apart from the freedom, is also the medical care is impressive, I must admit. So I'm in very good treatment, and I actually discovered 2 things, that cancer has like 2 sides. There's a psychological and emotional side. So I'm very lucky that my wife is taking care of me beyond what even imagine. And the care and the love you get is I think 80% of your cure. Because the rest is chemicals, and you have no idea what they do. So I'm 3 days in the hospital. The liquids flow into my veins, that rushes through my body. I feel shit like hell. It takes about 10, and then 10 days you're good, and then you go to your next chemo, and that has been going on now for the last almost year now. But I don't see a problem. I'm very lucky because I'm taken care of very well, and today again we saw my blood analysis, and that was good. So I'm like, okay, I'll win this also. I'm almost 60 now, so I've gone through a lot of things. Couple of divorces, 5 kids in Belgium. So emotionally, you get very strong after some time. And from a physical point of view, I trust you. And until today, that has been my luck, to just trust science and see what happens. And of course, feeling 10 days shit, I get tired of being tired, because I'm a very positive man. I want to work very hard, and I can't. That is my biggest struggle, that I cannot work the way that I want to work. But at the same time, when I do something, I'm very pleased, because like, fuck, I could finish something. Whoa, next. So there's always this yin-yang feeling in yourself, like you struggle to do something, and on the other side, then you do something, and then you're like extremely happy. So, and that's my life for now. And I'm very happy to see Ece, by the way. We worked very close together, so that was very nice to see her again this evening. I'm very grateful to my wife, Nesje Newgel. We live together 24/7 because we also work together. When I came from Belgium to Turkey, I came with nothing, not €1, zero. If I had euros then, I would be very rich today. I came just with my clothes, which were actually not suitable for Turkey because it was too warm. And since in these 8 years, we have been living our own life and creating our own thing. So I'm just a grateful guy. I always say to my wife, I'm so grateful that I live. Every day I have the pleasure of seeing my wife, of being into, I like Turkey a lot. We're close to Urla. So Urla is like one of the better places in Turkey. I can say that. So I'm just grateful for every day. I had a great life. If it's tomorrow, it's over. Actually, I will not be the one who has pain, because if you're dead, you don't feel anything. But it's more worse for the people who you leave behind. So I don't want to leave them behind, because I want to stay here for a long time. So that's my thing. Like, okay, so what's next? That's 3 minutes, I think.
Thank you.
In between, your voice was a little bit breaking, but I was so eager to hear what you're going to say. I think I was building up in my head.
Yeah, just for a few instances, you were frozen. We couldn't follow it, but we got the energy. Even when your screen, when your visual was frozen, we were still getting the energy and the positive vibes from you. Thank you. Thank you for being Patrick.
Thank you.
Thank you for being you. You have always been so really keep up the positive kind of guy. We are really looking forward to doing a lot of projects together.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Patrick, you're doing a musical project.
Our prayers for you. Yeah.
Patrick, you're doing some musical project as well. I just saw something. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that recording.
So I wanted to start my own academy. I was raised in art school. So I'm actually I'm an artist who didn't have the opportunity to be an artist because I was a father too early. So then I had to make money, so that my artist life kind of abruptly stopped. And I always wanted to create my own academy for kids, because especially here in this region, there's a lack of creativity and collaboration. So we started now with a program called Discover the Music in You. It is 24 kids online. We don't teach them how to play music. We kind of initiate them, like how can you collaborate and co-create music. So it's 12 workshops, and the last workshop is that they will all have created something new themselves with the help of professionals. We will record it and then we will put it online. So that's the program that we're doing, and it's all under the name of Creative Academy.
Amazing, amazing. How's it going?
And the next thing is a short film.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. I mean, kids are fucking talented. We have 10 girls from an orphan house who, in that orphan house, is also a school. And they also teach music there. So with these 10 girls, orphan girls, so they are mixed with the other boys and girls that we have in the group. And they are now, so their WhatsApp group is 24/7 busy, always exchanging ideas. What can we do together? Can you play this? Can you play the flute? Can you sing? So I'm just baffled. I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's really amazing.
Amazing. Amazing, great, excellent.
And I don't play music.
That's what makes this fantastic.
That's the best part of it. Wow, thank you so much to all of you. Tonight was very colorful. It was really vulnerable. There was so many heart-touching and very emotional stories being shared. So I want to invite all 7 of you to open your microphone. If you want to add something, if you want to comment about each other, please go ahead. And right now you have these 10 minutes that is all yours. Anybody wants to add something?
Also, if somebody wants to speak up.
I was just going to say, if another lockdown comes, I have some rooms in paradise if anyone wants to come down south, if you like gardening. So.
Yes, you need to share the photos with us.
I will. It seems very unpredictable, this whole thing. Politically, culturally, at many different levels, I tend to get my news and information from many different sources. And I must say this COVID thing has been so hard to understand and to put in perspective, you know, because the statistics say one thing, the governments say another thing. And I'm not a conspiracy theory person at all. I just think it's really hard to get a clear reading on what's actually going on, you know, and it's very serious for some people. In other ways, it seems not so serious. So it's strange. I don't know how long it can last this way, you know.
That's true. We are all living in this uncertainty, and we are trying to get used to it. For many of us, it's actually very difficult because we had a very grounded life, but how the reality is. And I think so many of you have mentioned that acceptance could be a way, and looking into all opportunities that this has brought for us might actually change how we perceive it.
I also would like to add one more thing. Like, you know, during this time, I call it this way, that I rebooted my operating system, because we were just so busy before this, that trying to achieve things and trying to do things, and we were drifting away from very basic things which we stopped being thankful about. And then, like, during this time, we realized that, oh, none of those things are important anymore. Your cupboard full with clothes we hardly touch, no makeup throughout. It's just like literally reboot.
An abundance of time too, huh?
Yeah.
Such a blessing.
It is.
Not to know what to do with it.
Yeah.
It's quite funny because we always have complained that I want to do this and I don't have time. I want to do that and I don't have time. And then during the lockdown, I was like, every morning I would wake up and I was like, what can I do? And nothing would come to my mind.
Yeah.
It's like an opportunity. I think we use life as an excuse not to pursue what's inside us. We say, well, I would practice, but I can't. I would write a song, I would make a painting, but I have to work or I have to do this. Coronavirus says, okay, no more bullshit. Be you. And coronavirus says, I'm taking away all your excuses. Now it's on you. Live your life. Pursue your love, you know? So it's very scary when the excuses get pulled from you, because we're so used to excuses. Coronavirus was this deity that just ripped our excuses from us. And if we don't do it, we have to admit we didn't do it because we didn't do it. We chose not to do it. We can't blame something else now. We can blame the coronavirus.
There's no blame game.
Yeah, true.
I couldn't agree more, 100%. I mean, I was feeling a huge responsibility for just how am I going to create a day? You know, now that I have sun up to sundown of relatively free time, I was feeling a huge sense of responsibility that I would probably miss this when it's over, you know, and I could go back to having excuses for why I didn't write or sing or, you know, build something. And it's been very humbling to realize that, you know, those excuses were kind of external, and the real thing to face was in myself to either wake up and do it or not, you know.
I think we also take everything for granted. We take everything for granted what we have. And actually, I mean, in the kind of society
I forgot my keyboard.
we have for the last many years. We thought that everything was going to continue the way it was. And then suddenly it didn't. And actually, society doesn't have the agility anymore to cope with things that are expected. So because everything is like pre-programmed, and we are actually happy that everything is pre-programmed, because then we don't have to think about it. So I think it was Faiza who said, I was into this corporate life, and I mean, my wife was also before in corporate life, and she lives, you go to work, you go home, and you go out with your friends, and that's life. And that's like, that's it. And you go sometimes on a holiday. While I have never worked for somebody, I always created my own thing. So for me, that agility is like in me, but then I was very surprised that people suddenly were like lost. Like, I'm like, no, guys, you can do more now. I mean, you don't have to go to work, so let's do more. While I actually saw that people were doing less because the comfort zone was suddenly gone and the lead was gone. Nobody was leading them anymore in what they had to do. So I was very surprised by the reaction of people. Yeah. But I'm missing some wires. So for me, I don't see a problem. I only see opportunity, and I only see a challenge. So that's something else.
So true.
It surely helped us to understand how to chill out. I didn't even know how to chill out, because in my life it was always about running and like starting 7 o'clock at gym and then 9 at work and then like, you know, official dinners later. So this year September, because once the lockdown was over, so my husband took me into boardroom. We were there and we were working, sitting at the beach. We were just going, having a swim, coming back and started working again. For me, that thing was completely new. I don't think I could ever imagine doing that ever in my life. And since I did it, and I feel like now things are it's different, but it has its own beauty.
True, art of chilling.
Definitely.
Yeah, to chill, yeah.
Many of us, this was like a push button to actually rest, because we totally forgot how to do nothing. Like, we wanted to wake up in the morning and jump out of bed and do something, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, what am I gonna do? It's locked down, everything, and the silence.
I think for us, it's a good predictor of preparing for a retirement time. Imagine if you work really hard in a corporate job for 40 years and then you retire like that overnight. I think that's what people that retire go through. Like, what do I do? So I think for us, we should prepare with the knowledge that when the working time is over and you have your pension, be prepared to fill that time with something that you love. It's kind of a nice thing. We can plan it out now. I mean, plan, right? Like we can plan, but it tells us to expect it again. I don't know.
Yeah, you have a point. You have a very valid point, actually.
Yeah, it's like
but it depends on your character. It depends on your character. There are people who really know how to do nothing. I have some kids who can really do nothing, and they have no problem with that at all. And I'm the father, and I cannot do not anything. I mean, there has to be something going on, but my kids can perfectly do nothing at all. I mean, they are as zen as can be.
Colin, I think all of us who are parents, who can understand. This is an annoying part, but we think like they really are not doing anything.
Thank you so much, guys, for sharing. Ece, Hilaneh, Lorraine, would you like to add anything?
No, just really enjoyed listening to everyone's stories and experiences, and it certainly raised my energy tonight as well. So yeah, gratitude, gratefulness, and thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Hope you feel better, Patrick.
Yeah.
Okay. So if nobody has anything else to share, maybe we can slowly wrap up. Özkan, would you like to?
Yeah, please do share in the chat box your connections, your websites, your social media, so that we can follow each other. Maybe I was just scrolling through the pages of Rumi, and maybe I can just read just a couple of sentences from Rumi, and then we can continue with the music.
Definitely, I'm so happy that Colin stayed with us. So we have two musicians. I would love to invite both of you to play for us. I have already requested Ray, so I think he's already prepared something. And then Colin also would like to play some flute for us. So whoever decides to want to start first, please go ahead after Özkan's poetry. And this is usually like saying goodbye for us. Because we usually don't like to just close the Zoom call and disappear all of a sudden. Usually in a social gathering, we spend another half an hour saying goodbye and sharing numbers and hugging and kissing and wishing good. But usually in the Zoom talks, it's just everything drop off at the moment. So we just don't like that hanging in the space feeling and feeling disoriented. So we listen to a little bit of music, and whenever you feel like you want to depart, I'm still very thankful that you spend your Wednesday night with us, and hope to see you all in person soon in Istanbul or somewhere else in the world.
I'm just gonna read slowly and quickly. We'll see. This is Rumi. Keep walking, though there is no place to get to. Don't try to see through the distances. That's not for human beings. Move within, but don't move the way fear makes you move. Walk to the well, turn as the earth and the moon turn, circling what they love. Whatever circles comes from the center.
I grew up writing a lot of poetry and doing spoken word. It was like a movement in America in the late 90s. And the only poets I really related to in that time were Rumi and Hafez. It's funny. An American 20 years ago. Shall I share a song?
Yeah.
I'm in the presence of a composer, so I'm more of a songwriter than a musician, and my guitar desperately needs a Luther, but
songwriters are really
So I was thinking about time and these beautiful days that we have in front of us and lives that we have in front of us, and this song came to mind. It's called All In. It's about going all in, you know. Never had much of a poker face. I never could hide my eyes, but you can read my mind before I read it. So baby, this ain't no surprise. I'm all in. Baby, I'm all in. And we are standing on the sidelines. And we are staring at the crowds. And we are born with stars for crying out loud. Baby, go all in. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na-na. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na. She told me write one for the angels. She told me sing one for the light, and light a candle for the sages, and everything gonna be alright, baby, come on in. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na-na. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na. No matter where you're from, no matter what you do, don't matter who you're with, no matter who you're with, no matter where you're from, no matter what you do, don't matter who you're with, no matter who you're with. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na-na. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na-na. Baby, come on in. Baby, come on in. She told me write one for the angels. She told me sing one for the light. Light a candle for the sages, and everything gonna be alright, baby, come on in. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na-na. Oh, oh, sha-na-na-na.
It was really beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. It's a very new song. I wrote it about a month or two ago. So.
It's amazing.
Very touchy.
So much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you. It'd be fun if we were all in the same room. We can sing along, all in.
Yeah, very nice sound.
Thank you, thank you. Would you like to share one, and then maybe I share one more?
Sure. I was there's latency, otherwise it would be nice to play together. But I
have a
playing...
very similar flute. Mine's in D, I think. I have maybe the same one.
This one's in D as well. All of these are mine. There's a flute maker in Arizona, and I have like 10 because they're each in a certain key.
Yeah.
So over the years I've asked him to make me one of this, and I've got a bass flute, which won't fit on camera, but hold on. Oh, it's like
wow.
almost as tall as my wife. And it's very low pitch, but it won't fit on camera, so I can't play that one. Yeah, I like it. I liked your sound. I like you cut your guitar like in half, kind of, to play the tune, and that nice like F, C, D minor, C kind of thing. It was cool.
Thank you.
Do people still do the lighter thing? Because it's like the perfect like old school ballads. You know, it reminded me of that band's. Anyway. All right, let me play something.
Is that also walnut? The flute?
Is it? I don't know actually. I have
That
each
was magical.
wood,
Beautiful, beautiful.
but I honestly forget which wood this is made from.
Thank you so much, Colin.
Yeah.
That was great. Beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, the sound was fantastic, really amazing.
Fantastic. Seriously.
Thanks.
They're amazing. Ray, you want to another
I
song?
have a new album, so you guys can check it out. Check out the
Yeah,
lyrics.
sure.
Please
I-
share the link.
Yeah, I'll send it to you right now. I'll put the link in the chat. If you like the music, there's so much more. And it has reverb and the pitch is fixed and everything. It's much nicer, much nicer. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole Zoom thing is a blessing and a curse. My kids have you know, 6-7 hours a day of Zoom meetings. I feel really badly for them. I mean, it's school, at least you can get in trouble and crack some jokes, but having to stay in front of the screens. And I did a couple live concerts, and it was so weird to have an audience that you can't hear. You know, it's a strange.
You can't feel, you know,
Right.
you can't feel the energy we all have when we're playing. It's so cold for us musicians playing out because we don't get the warmth back. You know, the way you do in a house concert or on stage, you can feel the people's energy, and on a computer you can't. I can't. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't either. That was something I really felt immediately. A couple of like Instagram live shows we did, and it was just so strange to have an audience. You know they're there, but you can't quite get that connection.
It's like when you're on television, except when I'm on television, there's other people in the room. At least there's a cameraman and there's a host, and at least you have a few people to vibe with. And then you know in your head, sure, millions, thousands, whatever are watching you, but it doesn't matter. And you're trained to block that out. And maybe it's because I was trained to block out the camera and just perform, that now when I'm playing live on a Zoom, for 30 years I've been trained to ignore that. So it's hard to turn that on overnight.
Yeah.
That's right. I think many of even teachers have felt exactly the same. It was quite strange for everyone. Maybe Özkan, maybe we should organize a talk that we just discuss about how live performances has been affected by.
Yeah, stage performances. Yeah, I agree.
Yes, pretty much.
There's a beautiful book called In Search of Duende by Garcia Lorca. It's a meditation on, you know, in Spanish flamenco culture, there's Cante Hondo, which is the deep song. And Lorca's one of my favorite poets ever. And this book was a meditation on basically on stage presence, on sort of the X factor. And in Spanish folklore, the duende is described as the invisible force that unites the artist, the art, and the audience. And for anyone who's ever been on stage in any way, shape, or form, we sense that. And it's challenging to summon the duende when you're behind the screen, you know, to feel that force in the room. But I really recommend this book. I'll post it. It's an absolutely mind-blowing concept, and he just articulates it so well. That shimmering, you know, I guess now they call it the X factor or something, but that thing that kind of grabs you by the guts and makes you feel what's going on. You know, amazing. You
said the name of the book is In Search of Blending? Was it?
Duende. It's a Spanish Andalusian word. Duende la casa. Like in a flamenco concert, they say, Viva el duende. The duende was a kind of hobgoblin, elf-like figure in Spanish folklore. Özkan, yes, that's it, Özkan. In Search of Duende by Lorca. Fantastic, short little read. It was a lecture. It's a beautiful book.
And duende was actually, as a word, it was spoken about by Mustafa Osman in the very first Vulnerable Talks session in May. He talked about duende.
Interesting.
I remember he had a beautiful presentation as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Unbelievable. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Hey, we need some more music, or how are we now? Good to go?
Would you like to share one more song with us, Ray?
Sure, sure. This is it's a song called Josephine, and it's a meditation a bit on cell phones. So I tend to write. I like to write sort of short stories and songs, and the idea was the couple met and they fell in love, and it's 20 years later and they're in bed together, but they're sending photos back and forth and liking each other's photos. So anyone who's ever been close to someone, or maybe got to the point of the relationship where you're close but you're far away, maybe can relate to that. And the narrator's remembering how it was when they met, and you can't wait to just get a moment alone with someone, to take a walk or have a kiss or have, you know, make love or whatever. And then years later, you're so far away. So. I'd love to stay, but sleep won't come. Lie awake with you in my arms. The call to prayer and the howling dogs. Please take care of my howling heart, Josephine. It was all just a misty morning. Now you're here. We just keep on scrolling in another life. You'd be more than just a photo on my street, Josephine. I think some of us are old enough to remember when you actually met someone and wrote down their number on a napkin or a notebook or something. Got your number in the 90s. I wrote it down with pad and pen. Now I watch pictures of your babies, and we check in now and then. Josephine, it was all just a misty morning. Now you're here. We just keep on scrolling. Got me singing, hey, hey, Jojo. Hey, hey, Josie Joe. Better put down your phone. Don't you know you're beautiful, Josephine? It was all just a misty morning. Now you're here. We just keep on scrolling. Got me singing, hey, hey, Jojo. Hey, hey, Josie Joe. Thank you, guys.
It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you
for connecting from far away on top of the mountain. Thank you everyone for staying till so late. Enjoy the rest of your evening and have a good night. Take good care of yourself. And beautiful music. Take good care. Be safe wherever you are.
God bless you all. Be safe, stay safe. Keep up the good spirit always.
Thank
Ciao.
you guys so much. Ciao.
Görüşürüz.
Bye-bye.
Good night, ÖZKAN. Good night, Sheri. It was beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.